Y'all married when the first one come along, or how this, how this what?
You know wasn't nothing wrong with little Bubba Graham back then.
Not you,
ain't nobody humping around.
You
But sometimes I wasn't the elder then. I was Macking it. I was Shaq Mac back then.
Okay, let me see what's going on at this door right here. What's going on? Elder, what's going on, man? Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Ooh, y'all gonna enjoy this. This is gonna be
already
epic.
got me going
Already.
I'm jumping in hot on the camera.
I gotta be like Joe now. I gotta wait on the Lord now. Hey, welcome to my YouTube channel today. I'm so honored. I have this man of God right here, my friend, my pastor, my
brother,
my cousin, administrator, assistant, superintendent, all of those hats. Most of all, there's my friend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you for being here,
forever,
yes, sir.
Friend.
Thank you so much.
Friend.
Man, today is a special day because tomorrow, I believe you're going to be celebrating what?
12 years of ministry at Mountain Movers C.O.G.I.C, where we are a church of love with a heart to help.
Listen to you. Yes, sir. Pastor, not only, this is like a double anniversary, right? What else you're celebrating this month?
Oh, well, this October is always awesome because me and my baby got married in October. So we're going to be celebrating 25 years of marriage. Me and my wife, 25 years. Silver. Yeah, yes, sir. Sterling silver.
All right now.
But we've been married for 25 years and God has been good to us and we're just thankful. So we're celebrating that. And then it's her birthday.
Oh,
so
cool.
Her birthday is October the 15th. We got married on the 11th. Crazy thing about it was when I married her, I married her, she was 17 years old. Didn't turn 18 to 4 days later. I actually had to have her father to sign her off to me.
Look at you, girl.
We had to go to the juvenile court just to get her, but we got married young, man. I was 19, she was 17, turned 18 4 days later. So when I'm telling you we're celebrating, bro, we're celebrating because nobody but God brought us this far. So we'll be celebrating the church.
Wow.
12 years being there in ministry this Sunday. Then 2 days later, we'll be celebrating our 25th year anniversary. Then, hey, that weekend, gotta get my baby girl, 43, woo woo.
Look at that.
43,
wow.
And looks good to me. 43, and she looks very good to me. So we're gonna be celebrating.
What a blessing. Pastor, look, with this love story, tell me this.
What's that?
Well, how did you meet him? Where did y'all meet at? Where did you meet her at?
In this great little town of Horn Lake. You know, it wasn't as big as it is now, but I met her here in Horn Lake, not far from there, really the school right down here, the street where it's actually the middle school. That was our high school. I left Sledge. I ran out of Sledge. I had to get out of Sledge at 17. I had to get out and I moved my senior year of high school. I moved up here to Horn Lake. It was crazy, man. Just a culture shock. Just it was different, but God was doing something different in my life. Moved up here at Horn Lake, and my senior year of high school, I met my best friend Jacinto. We met that year, and then also met Tanya in cafeteria. She was in the cafeteria. You know, I always could be able to tell some jokes. I always had some game.
Already.
I always
Yes,
had
sir.
game. And we used to go to the cafeteria every breakfast morning, and I just entertained for some reason, just tell some jokes. And I see she liked my jokes, and she kept laughing. So hey, I got after her and stuff, but she turned me down a couple of times. But I had a real good friend, real good friend who worked with me at Popeye's Chicken and Biscuit. And I told her, I said, Tamika, you gotta get me. He said, don't worry about it, I handle it. And Tamika went over there, and I don't know what she said, but she said something, and baby gave me a shot, and that's all I needed was one shot. All I needed was one shot, and we've been together ever since. So.
Well, look. Let's fast forward a little bit. Let's fast forward. You got two amazing, awesome children.
Yes.
Deja and Cornelius. Tell me this. So now, was y'all married when the first one come along? Or how did, how did what?
you know wasn't nothing wrong with little Bubba Graham back then.
Not you,
ain't nobody humping around. But sometimes I wasn't the elder then. I was Macking it. I was Shaq Mac back then. I was. But no, me and my wife, well, she's my wife now, but she was my girlfriend. We were together from '96, and she got pregnant, and we had her in '97. So before we got married, but the crazy thing about it was not a shotgun marriage. It's not. I don't want you to think for any second, hey, I got her pregnant and we got married. No, it wasn't that. We had actually got engaged in 96. We got engaged. When I graduated, I proposed to her when I graduated and stuff. She was still in high school. I proposed to her in high school. So I don't know. Ask me how I knew she was the one. I knew she was the one.
I won't ask you.
How you were going to
I was.
Don't ask. I promise you. This is crazy. You know Rose Chapel. You know
right.
me. We were born and raised Church of God in Christ.
Right,
we were there. There was a revival when I was a young boy. T.R. Martin. You remember when he used to come through? Pastor Martin would come through and he would give a revival. He had us and he was laying hands on everybody, and he actually prophesied to me and Marcus, my older brother, right. and he laid hands on us and he said, you're gonna get married at a young age. He was talking to Marcus. He said, you're gonna be in the ministry. A lot of folks gonna come to God, and God was speaking to me as he was talking to my brother. God said, I'm talking to you, you listen. Now, you know, back then in Shaq, I wasn't living for God, wasn't trying to live for God, but everything he was saying for my brother, God spoke to me. I'm listening to him say, this is your prophecy. And he said, you're going to get married at a young age. Your wife's going to be young. Everybody's going to love your wife. Everybody. And I'm like, man. And my mother, who heard this man prophesying, seeing him talk to my older brother, she knew the man was talking about me. Really? She said it later. She knew the man was talking about me. So I knew at a young age, I pondered that and I heard. So I knew that something was gonna happen in my life. Even though I ain't live right all the time. You know, I ain't live right all my life, but I knew God all my life. I knew there was a calling on my life. I knew it was something. So when I ran into my wife and stuff and it happened and things started happening, man, I really loved the girl and it just clicked like that, man. I proposed to her and she ended up getting pregnant. And boy, that was a scary situation there. Man, when I tell you that was crazy because she's 17. In high school, and you know, she got to tell her dad and tell her mom she's pregnant. Now these C.O.G.I.C folks too. Now you know what I'm saying. Right. These I don't know. I didn't ask for this. It's just we so happened to end up having a lot of things, same thing. So she was pregnant, and man, it was a struggle because you know, church people will tell you they don't believe in abortion until their child get pregnant. Church folks, it's a lot of stuff that people, church folks tell you they believe about the Bible until it hit their situation. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So we had to overcome a lot, but I thank God that we were able to go, because for a while, you know, it was rocky. But me and my wife, you know, I thank God she and I said we were gonna go through this, and my father-in-law, I love him. You remember Deacon?
I remember.
Yeah, you remember him. He sat you down a couple times.
Yeah, he had. Yes, he had.
Yeah, but Deacon Norman, when I tell you I love this man because he taught me so much about manhood. He taught me so much about fatherhood. He taught me so much about love and compassion. But when I got his daughter pregnant, he found out. I remember I was working at Home Depot and he called me and said, Cornelius, I need to talk to you. And I said, all right, then we want to talk to him. He said, I need to talk to you tonight. And I'm like, man, I'm getting off at 10 o'clock. And this man want me to come talk to him. Now, baby and them stayed in Nesbitt. We're in Horn Lake, but you know Nesbitt is the country, right? And it ain't like Nesbitt now, you know. So I gotta drive out there. I told everybody at Home Depot, if y'all don't see me tomorrow, send somebody down because it's 10 o'clock at night, and I get there. And when I get there, this man comes out with his 2 Rottweilers and said, "Let's walk." I'm like, "Let's walk." It's now by the time it's 11 o'clock. Me and him walking with 2 Rottweilers down a country road, and we're talking. I said, what in the world is about to happen here? But he was like, Cornelius, you got my daughter pregnant. I said, yes, sir. He said, what I want you to do is be there for my daughter. I said, what? He said, listen to me. He said, be there for my daughter. That's all I need you to do. I said, what you mean? He said, I said, no, I'm gonna take care of my child. He said, don't worry about the child. I'm gonna take care of the child. I said, no, I'm gonna take care of my child. He said, no, you listen to me. Your job is to make sure my daughter is all right. He said, make sure her mind is all right. Make sure she's happy. Make sure she's good. I'm not worried about this child. The child gonna be all right. But I need my daughter to be all right. My daughter is young. And I'm talking about it was crazy because I'm thinking he's about to give me this big thing. But his mindset with his daughter, even at 17, her being young, he's seeing she young. He don't know me from anybody. I'm just a little boy, could just come in and out of her life. He done saw so many young ladies get abandoned with just a single mother. His main focus was I take care of his daughter because he wasn't worried about the grandchild. He was gonna make sure the grandchild. But I told him that night, you ain't gotta worry about your daughter. I'm gonna take care of your daughter. I'm gonna take care of your grandchild too. And that's just a promise I made. And hey, bro, I just believed in that.
Elder, that was so rich what you said because I believe that probably somebody is watching or they're in the situation where you were finding out that she's pregnant at a young age. So what would you tell that young man like your father-in-law told you? What would you tell him?
Well, I would tell that young man, see, this is the thing about me. You know my father, Willie Watson Jr. Love him. My father, thank God for him. One thing about my father was I saw my father every night. You know what I'm saying? Me and my father didn't have the greatest relationship while I was in the house because I was cutting up and the whole thing. And come find out later, I was a lot like him. So that's we didn't have the greatest relationship. But one thing I saw him, he kept coming home every day. He went to work and he was there for his 5 children every night. His father had 12 children. And he was there every night for his children. Wow. And I made up my mind, you know, if I got a child, I'm gonna take care of my child. Nobody's gonna take care of my child because my daddy took care of us. My dad didn't leave his responsibility. That's what I would tell any young man. I told my son, hey, if you get a girl pregnant, I hope you're ready to be with her for your life because you're gonna take care of your children. I would tell every young man, take care of your child. Children need their fathers in their life. Children need that presence is so much. So it was just a blessing to me that his thing was take care of his daughter. And he was worried about her mindset, her mental being, wasn't finna let his daughter, hey, he was gonna take the brunt of all the responsibilities, but I was not gonna allow him to do that because this is my responsibility. Wow, Too often we got people that make a baby. You're not a man because you can make a baby. Any boy can make a baby, you know what I'm saying? But it takes a man to stay around there and raise that child. Even right now, my son, you talk about him, he's 22 years old. Kadarius is 22 years old. And right now I'm still fathering him. You know what I'm saying? It's big that now I'm father at 22 years old. You know, he has situations where he needs a father because we think when we turn 18 we're grown, you know, young people and stuff, and I can't father him like I used to, put him on my you know, get that belt, run him. No, it came to a point where, brother, he bigger than me, you know what I'm saying? It don't make no sense me putting him on my lap and whooping him and stuff. So I gotta father him, I gotta talk to him, I gotta be there for him. And it's huge, man. I thank God for the opportunity, you know, to just be able to share. I made up my mind this right here, talking about me moving up here, leaving the house at 17. I made up my mind that me and my son would not have the relationship me and my father. I made that intentional, that me and and I promise you, I'm not blaming my father. I thank God for my father. My father, I needed my father. I needed the discipline from my father, but I didn't realize that my father loved me. My daddy was dead before I really grabbed the magnitude of what my daddy was doing and all the things. And it was too late to go back and tell him, man, Dad, thank you. You know what I'm saying? It was too late when he was gone to go back and tell him, Dad, I understand it. God didn't allow me to get it until he was gone. You know what I'm saying? God didn't allow me to get all my mistakes until he was gone. Now that's a hurtful feeling. Man, I'm talking about, I get the lessons he was trying to teach when he's gone. But the difference with my dad would teach a lesson, but he wouldn't tell you he was teaching a lesson. He would just, he was rough with it. You have to figure it out on your own. With my son, I'm doing things a little different. I want my son to know what I'm doing. I'm talking to him. Last thing I remember, Joe, I remember the day my daddy told me he loved me. I remember the day. I was a grown man. You know what I'm saying? I was a grown man. Now, he shown me he loved me all his life because he took care of us. But the day he said, son, I love you, bro, it stopped me in my tracks. Because all the time, you know, I knew, you know, I just, as a man, it matters to hear your father say, I love you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So when my daddy stopped and said, I love you, I said, well, man, what did you just say? He said, I said, I love you. I said, man, and I stopped in that ponder. But I made up my mind with my children when I was growing up, never would they have to ever guess that they daddy loved me. Every day, I love you. Hey, Deja, I love you. Hey, Kadarius, I love you. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, I hug him. You know what I'm saying? Talk to him and stuff like that. And things, I made up my mind that I wouldn't get frustrated with him because my daddy, if I do something, dad was just, man, bruh, he just like he wasn't understanding of things. But like I say, he knew me. I was just a lot like him later. I found out everything because I wondered. I thought my daddy didn't like me. And I like, is that really my daddy? I really want to know, is that my daddy? And Deacon Herbert, my uncle, said, man, no, you your daddy's child. You said you every bit of your daddy. He said, the stuff you do now is the stuff your daddy used to do all the time. And I didn't realize that my daddy saw me and him so much. And that's the reason he was pushing me. That's the reason he was I couldn't get away from nothing with him because he understood that I was him. And I didn't understand it. But one thing he didn't have that I needed and God has blessed me with is the patience. Wow. The patience, man. Yes. The patience. I got to be patient with my son. I got to be patient because he do some stuff that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But guess what I did? Stuff that was crazy. Right. And I wanted my father to understand me. I wanted someone to live. I wanted somebody. So now that's what I'm doing to him. And bro, believe me, you reap what you sow. Woo, Lord. Yeah. You reap what you sow. So just to deal with him. I'm sorry.
No. It's good that you there with your, you're talking about your son because now your son is actually in ministry.
Oh, yes.
With you. Look, what are the benefits of that and what are the challenges?
The benefits of it is he's dependable.
All right.
The benefits is I know what I'm getting for him. The benefits is I don't have to explain myself to him. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The benefits is I can holler at him. You know what I'm saying? I can be myself. The downfall of it is, the challenges of it is I can't abuse him. You know what I'm saying? I can't abuse him just because he's my son. Mm-hmm. I gotta respect him just like I would respect somebody else out there. So I gotta understand that. And this is the thing about it with ministry, and I'm glad you brought it up that they're in ministry with me. I didn't force this on them. Mm-hmm. I've never forced ministry, salvation on any of my children. Never yet. What I've always done was like what my father and my mother did. I lived right. I understood that you can't make somebody live right. You can show them right, and then they have a chance. And it's my obligation. I believe the Bible. I believe that my children are saved because the Bible said it, because of my life. You know what I'm saying? And if I live right, sooner or later, God's going to touch them. I believe train up a child in the way he should go, and when they're old, they won't depart from it. I didn't depart from it. I just believe. So my thing was when I became in the ministry and when I became a pastor, last thing I was going to do, I did not allow anybody to make my children pastors. No, my daughter is my daughter. My son is my son. They're children just like every other child in the church. You're not going to put these expectations on them. I had a family member tell one time the children got in trouble. Family member tell LaDeja, you the pastor's child. Should know better. Hold on, no, she's a child. No. Leave my child alone. I'm gonna have grace for yours. Yeah. So I never pushed them into this. And my son, who I came from Bishop Ivory's church, and his son played for him, Jabril. Yeah. So Kadarius saw that, and when I went to Mountain Movers, Kadarius was like, Dad, I wanna play for you. Just like Jabril, he wanted it. That was a desire of his. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to push. I didn't want to force, because too often we prepare and we push stuff on people that they're not ready to do. But my son wanted to play, and then he jumped on there and took some lessons from you and all that, and he ended up learning how to play, and God has gifted him. Yes, but that's his desire. You know what I'm saying? Right. So the benefit of it, and me and my wife talk about it so much. We are so blessed to have him because we don't have to worry about is the musician gonna be on time. Wow. And he really loves the ministry. He loves what he does. God has already showed me that in order for us to go higher, everybody around me is gonna have to go higher. So what we were gonna have to do, I was gonna have to depend on other people and stuff. I can't do everything my own. And last year was the first year that I just completely took my hands off everything. I just went into service, went into Mountain Movers, that celebration service, not knowing what was going to happen, just trusting that we had been with people for 10 years now. So I've been with you for 10 years. Y'all know what we do. Let's do it. So I just showed up. And when I showed up, man, I'm talking about my son had already started the practices all year, all anniversary time. He was calling the choirs together. He was getting people together. He was talking about that. Different ones were setting stuff up. All I did was walk in. And when I tell you they blessed me with just the growth over 10 years on what had happened and how they took the reins and just gone. So it's just a blessing, man, to have your family. And even my daughter, even though she's in St. Louis, she's physically in St. Louis and everything, but she's an E-member. She's on, she took over one of the mountains because we broke everything in the pandemic down to mountains. And my wife was over a mountain. We have like about I think at least 5 mobile leads where have at least 15 members in the group where they contact and make sure everything goes. So I don't have to call all the members. Right. I can just reach out to the leads and they'll get in contact. My daughter took over from my wife's group and she was leading them, man, making sure everybody was on point. So just to see my son and my daughter a part of this ministry, love this ministry. Because my daughter, when she came down there, she hated it. She hated to come to Mountain Movers because we were leaving the Rock. Right. And the Rock was the place to go because we had an awesome youth department. And she was like, my goodness, man, we leaving this. I'm mad. And she was mad for a long time. But when she called the other members at the Rock, she found out they wasn't excited about what was going on. And she's like, what's going on? But she didn't realize that when I left as a youth pastor, a lot of the excitement went down to Mountain Movers. So she's in the right place. And then she finally figured out where Mountain Movers, and God has blessed her where she love it. She's a part of it, man. It's great to have my family full in on it, you know, so.
Well, I got to acknowledge First Lady. Because First Lady, let me ask you this, was she, when you was called to the ministry, was it like y'all was called to the ministry at the same time, or did God call you to the ministry? And if he called you and not her, was she just all in, or how was that?
She's all in now.
All now?
I can say she's all in now. I can say she's been all in to Mountain Movers since she made it to Mountain Movers. But I got to tell you this right here. She didn't get saved and delivered till she came to Mountain Movers. Okay. When me and my wife went to Mountain Movers in 2010, we walked in the church separated. Nobody knew it. No, my mother knew it. My father didn't know it. The members at Mountain Movers or Peter Rock at the time did not know. We walked in. Me and my wife was going through one of the greatest struggles. The enemy was really trying to tear our family apart. And I'm talking about in 2010 was one of the most difficult portions because it was gonna be, I had to trust God with all I had. I had to trust God, I had to trust God's plan, I had to trust God's will. I had to trust God versus everything, you know what I'm saying? And whenever God is trying to do something greater for you, there's gonna be greater tests come. So I had to realize that me and my wife are not just married, but me and my wife are called to ministry together. God played, when that prophecy I told you, the man of God gave me at a young age, I accepted that, hey, I was gonna get married. But the enemy knew that too. The devil knew that too. Everybody, it was, God knew that. So me and my wife, us, over the first, 13 years of our marriage was really tough, man. It was really tough because we get married at 17, 19, with children. I'm talking about now, and I look back, 19, that's when I can't look at my son who's 22. I can't even look at him and the stuff he does or mistakes. I can't compare him to me at 22 because really at 22, it's a miracle that I was able to do if it had not been for God. Wow. If it had not been for God. If it had not, and my pastor, Bishop Jerry, I thank God that once we got married at 19, check this out, when we got married, I was 19. I had been in the church, I knew holdings, I knew all that, but I was out. And when I left my dad and mom in them house, I'm like, hey, well, I've been enough church. At 17, Joe, we had been enough church where we could last us to 97. Yes, you know? I'm saying, you know how we raised. So I was out. And when I moved up here to Horn Lake, man, my great aunt, you know, I was out. But my wife ended up being a part of a church, and her parents brought her up in holiness. So when we got married, she got saved. She got saved. Went to Pastor Pass, Albert Pass. She went to Pastor Pass, got saved, and then we started looking for a church. Her auntie, Aunt Sand, God rest her soul, she invited us, and we met Bishop Ivory. So I got saved at 19, and she was 18, and we moved our family, and Bishop Ivory began to father us. I would say any young people, and that's the reason I'm so passionate at Mountain Movers about young couples and trying to help them, because I understand that being married is difficult at an old age, but at a young age, man, it's really crazy. But our pastor fathered us, and he brought us through, and he brought us to a point where he covered us. When we got into it, he would counsel us, and it was crazy, because if it not for his word, if it was not for him saying, son, trust me, God is trying to do something with your family. If not for his word, I would have left Lady Watson, because we were in a tough. She wasn't Lady Watson, she was just my wife. I would have left, but I trusted the God in him. He had never given me bad advice, and even though I was in a difficult spot, I trusted what he told me. I trusted God, and I watched God do something great. I watched God mend our family. I watched God deliver my wife. I watched God do some mighty things. I watched God move some mountains. You know what I'm saying? I watched God. The first mountain I saw God move was the mountain he moved out of my wife's life. And I'm talking about, she got down there, man, and just has been a blessing. She is blossomed. And when she first came, she said, what do you need me to do as a first lady? What do you need from me? I said, I need you just to be here. That's your job, just to be here. I never put no expectations on her, never put anything. You just be here, because salvation, what people don't realize, is not a package deal. You know what I'm saying? It's not a package deal. Just because God called you to salvation don't mean he called your wife or called your children. It's not a package deal. You got to choose God for yourself. Too often we jump into ministry and then we get mad at other folks, because now I used to get hot because I was at Sunday school, and I'm going to Sunday school, and Tanya, she laying down. She ain't gonna. She just barely made it up there to worship service before it was out. And we'll go out on Saturday night to have a good time, go to the movie, and I got to get up and go to Sunday school. She stayed at the house. I thought that was completely unfair and stuff. So we had to navigate all that. But God blessed her, so she was not fully in, but God's timing is different than our timing. God had to call on her life. God, my wife, when I tell you Lady Watson is anointed of God, she is she's something special in God, but God had to bring her around his time. So you got to figure at 32, God begins to work with her and start changing her and bringing her where you want. I'm at 19. And hey, I accept my calling as a minister in 2000. So you know what I'm saying? I'm 24, a minister, and I'm in the gospel. And she accepted the fact that she knew the call on my life, but she struggled with, what they put me, because I'm married to the minister. I'm married to the elder. I'm married to the youth pastor. And everybody's looking at her like, because people respected my walk in God. So that made it rough on her when she knew she wasn't where she's supposed to be at God and stuff. So she wasn't all in until God pulled her in. But God had a plan for her. And through the struggles and through the trials we had, God birthed something great in her. And when I tell you, she has been the biggest blessing to me. I thank God for First Lady Tanya. Well, I told him, if you don't show up at Mountain, let me put this plug in. We're going to be celebrating 12 years.
Talk to him, tell him.
If you don't show up to celebrate me, if you don't think anything of me, my wife is awesome in God. God has blessed me with an awesome wife, an awesome companion. She is there. When I tell you, we got a saying in our house, we all we got. That's what me, my wife, my son, and my daughter, we said we all we got. You know what I'm saying? If we can't depend on anybody, we can depend on each other as family. Now, we extended that saying to Mountain Movers as our church family. We all we got, letting us know, hey, we got to depend on us, because the world ain't going to cover us. You know what I'm saying? Right. The outside people ain't going to cover us, but we all we got. So my wife is all in, my children are all in, but it took God working the things. And that's the reason right now, when she would get mad at my son or get mad at my daughter, I tell them, just remember, you didn't get saved at 32. They ain't but 25 and 22. You got to be patient, just like God was. And that's my thing. I have to be patient. I can't expect people to give their life to God at 19. It was, man, that's against the grain. That's different. That's an exception to the rule and stuff. So, but I just believe if God changed me, I believe He can change everybody.
Pastor, it's truly been a blessing. Thank you
bro,
again for being here.
Appreciate you, man. I'm sorry it took so long.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to get here early, but I'm so happy that you saw fit to allow me. You know, he's thanking me. I want to put this plug out here. I want to put this out here. I'm thankful to sit with the legend, the man, the myth himself, Joel Ballard. Y'all, this guy is a blessing. He is a blessing, not just here, not just in his home, not just in churches. He's a blessing to me. People love Joel Ballard. I love Joel Ballard. He's a mountain mover. Let me put that out there to everybody. He's a mountain mover. I thank God for him. I thank God for all that he's gonna do in his life. Y'all, right? Don't be a bandwagon. Jump on the train right now. Like, share, become his Facebook friend, become his follower. Right, do it now, because I'm telling you, you're gonna get so big. You need to put well, you know, get his YouTube. What's that YouTube channel?
Yeah, Joel
Ballard. Go to Joel Ballard. Subscribe. Like, I'm telling you, God is doing some amazing things in this man's life, and he's real. He loves God. And I'm telling you, there's anointing. Joe, can I tell this story? I know you don't.
Go ahead.
I hadn't even told you this story, but I was in Emerald Music just about a couple of weeks ago. And when I was in Emerald Music, I was going because we were looking for what we're going to do about an organ and Leslie and stuff. And while I'm in there, a man just walk in. Me and Kadar, we just walk in, and I just go to talking to the guy. And he come to find out he was from Sardis. He was the band director in Sardis or whatever. And he was talking, and I was like, well, do you know Joel? He said, yeah, I know Joel. Joel came down there, and he sung for my father's or mother's, somebody's funeral. And I said, yeah, for real. He said, let me tell you about Joe. I said, what? He said, Joe supposed to came through. This was before God clean, delivered, set him free.
One of them stories?
Yeah, one of them stories. He said, Joe, I called Joe. Joe supposed to came. I said, did he even show up? He said, yeah, he showed up. When he showed up, he was drunk as a skunk. I said, what? He said, man, Joe, I don't even know how he sat on the organ, but said when Joe was told to sing, that man opened his mouth and the whole church went up. The entire church went up. There's an anointing on Joel's life that is unreal. I feel God just even talking about it. When I tell you there's an anointing that's placed on this man's life to heal, deliver, set free through his worship. Y'all, I just believe that God's gonna bless, elevate him, do so many great things in his life. It's a reason he's around. Should have been gone a long time ago. But God has greater in store. So Joe, not only am I stepping in my season, I thank God that you're stepping in yours too. I love you, bro. You know I love you from the bottom of my heart.
Yes,
man.
sir,
Give me a hug, man.
Yes, sir.
I love you, bro.
I hope this broadcast has truly blessed you. It has blessed me. And just remember, man, step into your season.
Absolutely.
Look, until next time, to God be the glory.
Love you.